Hey, Taco here. Just wanted to talk a little bit today about ground speed versus airspeed, what the difference is, and what it means to you flying your paramotor. I covered this a little bit in my July 23rd video. I threw up a little bit of math, but some people, especially non-pilot people, might be a little bit confused about what the difference is and why there is a difference. Let's talk about something that you might be a little more familiar with. Let's take a boat on a river. So let's say you're puttering along in your little boat and you've got a motor out the back. And the motor is strong enough to make your boat go 5 miles per hour. It's a little motor, 5 miles per hour. Okay, maybe it's a trolling motor. I'm not a boat guy. So you're messing around 5 miles an hour. As long as the water is still, no matter which way you go, around a pond or whatever, or a lake, as long as the water is still, you're always going to go 5 miles per hour. However, if there's a current, weird stuff happens. So let's say over here on the bank is a dude watching you go by in your boat. So he's watching you from the riverbank. If there's no current at all, you go 5 miles per hour. Now, if there is a current, let's say there's a 5 mile per hour current. So the water is actually going 5 miles per hour itself. So your boat is still going to go 5 miles per hour through the water, but the water itself is going 5 miles per hour. So you add the two. You're going with the current. You're going 5 miles an hour through water. The water itself is moving 5 miles per hour. So to somebody on the shore, they're going to say, hey, look, that little boat is going 10 miles per hour. And let's say you go downriver for a little bit, you turn around, you try to come back the other way. So we have our little boat, we have our little motor, we have us, and our friend up here on the bank. Now, the motor is still only going to let your boat go 5 miles per hour. And let's say the water is still going 5 miles per hour. So, motor wide open, your boat's going 5 miles an hour that way through the water. However, at the same time, the water is moving beneath you in the opposite direction at 5 miles per hour. So to you, to your boat, and if you had some kind of speedometer built in so it would measure how fast you were going through the water, not GPS, but through the water itself, it would tell you, hey, we're moving 5 miles per hour. But to a guy on the shore, you're going 0 miles per hour. So everything's kind of relative. You think you're going 5 miles an hour through the water, and you are. But the water is going 5 miles an hour that way. So really, to this guy, you're standing still, or sitting still, or floating still. So you're not moving to him. But to you, your boat's, going like gangbusters. And you're still going to have water churning up along the sides. You're going to be putting out a wake down here. But you're not moving to this guy. Okay, paramotors can be the same way. When we fly our paramotors through an air mass, we have to take into account what that air mass is doing. So let's say this is not a cloud, this is just a mass of air. Okay. So this is a bunch of air, either going up, down, north, south, east, west, whatever. We got a guy standing down here, and he's watching us fly by on our paramotor. So we have our paramotor. It's a terrible looking paramotor, but it doesn't really matter. So we're flying along in our paramotor. Just put me some more strings there. Okay. Now, if this air mass is not moving, and let's say I have an engine and wing configuration that lets me move forward at 25 miles per hour. Okay? trimmed out, level flight, engine's going 25 miles an hour. So as long as this air mass is not moving, this guy down here is going to see me moving along at 25 miles per hour. So I'm flying forward at 25 miles per hour. If he had a police radar, he could clock me going by at 25 miles an hour. All is well and good. So 25 miles an hour airspeed is the same as 25 miles an hour across the ground. Airspeed, ground speed. That's if this air mass is not moving. So what I showed you on my July 23rd video, which you saw me going one direction with the wind. You saw me going really slow. And when I turned around, I was going really fast. So why that happens is, if this entire air mass is moving this way at 10 miles per hour, okay? It's moving at 10 miles per hour. I'm moving at 25 miles an hour through the air mass. The air mass itself is moving 10 miles per hour. So this guy down here in the corner isn't going to see me going 25 miles an hour. He's going to say, wow, that dude is booking it at 35 miles per hour. So airspeed of the paramotor plus the speed of the wind gives me a ground speed of 35 miles an hour. Why does this make a difference? Well, it makes a big difference. If I'm going somewhere, how long is it going to take me to get there? And how much fuel am I going to use? So if I'm going from one airport to another one, how long is it going to take me to get there? If I don't take into account ground speed and the speed the air mass is moving that I'm flying through, I may get there way earlier or way later than I expect to. Conversely, let's say this air mass is not moving with me. Let's say this air mass, let's get rid of this guy. Okay. Let's say this air mass is actually moving opposite me. And again, it's moving at 10 miles per hour. Okay, I'm flying along, my engine's making me go 25 miles an hour in combination with the way I have the wings set up and everything. I'm still moving 25 miles an hour through the air. But the entire air mass is dragging me backwards at the same time. So I've got 10 miles per hour, in this case, of air moving against me. People would say you're fighting a headwind. The wind is coming from in front of you. So I'm fighting a headwind. So 25 miles an hour that way, minus 10 miles an hour that way. To somebody on the ground, they're going to say, wow, he's going 15 miles per hour. Again, why does this matter? Well, if I'm flying to an airport 15 miles away, well, it's going to take me an hour flying against the wind or into a headwind. Does the wing see that? No. The wing is going to act like you're flying through 25 mile an hour winds. Okay, it's going to act like your airspeed is 25 miles per hour. Physics is going to say you're going 25 miles an hour. However, across the ground, you're going a lot slower. So that's the difference between airspeed and ground speed.